morning, distinguished guests, parents, teachers, and students. Welcome to Walter Leonard Parks Middle School. Today we would like to recognize one of the most lovable civil rights and congressional leaders, the Honorable United States Congressman John Lewis. Congressman John Lewis has a history of helping others through his political, social, and charitable acts. Politically speaking, Congressman Lewis is responsible for several voter registration programs and voters' absentee ballots in Georgia. Socially, the congressman has devoted his life to protecting the civil and human rights of others. He has sponsored many rallies and sit-ins such as the March on Washington, the Freedom Rides to Montgomery that has resulted in the passing of the laws that help all citizens. Mr. Lewis is not one to boast on his charitable acts. Because of his kind and generous spirit, he has set several organizations which have raised major amounts of money for funding. He has given both his time and money to support students' educational efforts. Additionally, Mr. Lewis listens to the voices of the people. With a caring ear and concerning heart, Mr. Lewis has sponsored or supported laws that have created better medical programs and benefits, supported housing programs, provided funding to educational institutions, supported classroom technology programs, and better child programs, etc. Congressman Lewis' recognition of the needs of others is limitless. Today, Congressman Lewis, we would like to thank you and applaud your efforts toward making the lives of others better. We would also like for you to know that we recognize your greatness and we pledge to walk with the wind.
My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, and he said, we shall be free. Yes, he did, ladies and gentlemen. We shall be free of the ignorance that is surrounded by us as a people. We shall be free to vote and attend the same schools. We shall be free to frequent any business and not be treated different because of our skin color. Oh my eyes have seen the glory. And I know that one day we shall be free.
I believe in nonviolence as a way of life and as a way of living. That is why on the grounds of my college campus, 5th University, I led several of my classmates in nonviolent marches. Day after day, my classmates participated in lunch counter sit-ins where we were often made fun of, spit on, beaten, and arrested. My classmates and I never wavered from our belief that people of any and every color shall be treated equally. In 1961, at the tender age of 21, I joined my fellow classmates on the Freedom Ride to Alabama to rally against segregation on the interstate buses. On our journey, the bus was burned, and mobs of people rushed us, and many people, including me, were badly beaten. We were later arrested and placed in one of the worst jails in Alabama. As if we had not suffered enough, we were later transported to the state penitentiary. Because of our determination, the Supreme Court declared segregation on interstate buses unconstitutional. Many people feel that the Freedom Ride was not a necessary act. I say, come, take a walk in my shoes.
On the journey to freedom, I can recall the words of my good friend, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He can be quoted as saying, freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. In my remembrance of these words, I coordinated the Student Nonviolent Coordinated Committee to campaign for black voters in the South. Need I say that I had no idea that my efforts toward freedom would result in the most dramatic protest in history, Bloody Sunday. Civil rights leader Hosea Williams and I led over 600 marchers across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. The Alabama state troopers charged into the crowd with tear gas, angry monsters, nightsticks, and other harmful things. We were beaten badly, and many of us were taken to the hospital. As a soldier of this cause, I suffered a fractured skull. Because of this march and other marches led by Dr. King and me, the Voting Rights Act was passed by President Johnson. Finally, voters of the South could exercise their rights to vote.
1981, President Jimmy Carter asked me to head the Federal Volunteer Action. While living in Atlanta, Georgia, I went on to be elected as a city council member. In 1986, while continuing my push for government reform and neighborhood preservation, I pledged to campaign as a U.S. Congressman. I was elected to Congress and have held this post as 5th Congressional District to this day. I have sat on several committees: House Budget, Subcommittee on Health, Congressional Black Caucus, Faith and Politics, and many more. My greatest moments detail my campaigning and locating funding for the building of Dr. Martin Luther King Center in Washington, D.C. Additionally, my political support of Senator Barack Obama leads him to become the first United States African-American president. Additionally, I am so proud to have received this John F. Kennedy Profiling Courage Award for Lifetime Achievement. Lastly, I thank my former civil rights brothers, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Hosea Williams, Reverend Andrew Young, Reverend Ralph David Abernathy, and many more for igniting a flame in me that has led to the freedom of African American people.
Without further delay, I would like to introduce to you a civil rights, political, social, and cultural leader who has changed the lives of men. I present to you the Honorable Congressman J Lewis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very, very much for your wonderful words. Very inspiring. You're just gifted and very, very smart. And I want to thank you for all of those wonderful words. And thank you for your kind words of introduction. I must tell you that I'm delighted, very pleased to be here. You portrayed the movement better than I've ever seen it. And I love it. I was holding back. I was trying to keep from crying. So it's really a blessing to be here. And again, I want to apologize for coming, being here so late. But I'm happy to be here. And thank you for all that you do. And all that you will continue to do as young people and as students. So I suggest to you to stay in school, obey your teachers, obey your parents, and don't give up, don't give in, don't give out. And you can be what you want to be. You know, when I was growing up in rural Alabama many, many years ago, and I had all of my hair and a few pounds lighter, I saw those signs that said white men, colored men, white women, colored women, white women, colored women. And as a young child, I tasted the bitter fruits of segregation and racial discrimination, and I didn't like it. And I would come home and ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, why segregation? Why racial discrimination? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way. Don't get in trouble. But one day, I heard about Rosa Parks when I was 15 years old in the 10th grade. I heard the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the old radio. The action of Rosa Parks and the words of Dr. King and his leadership inspired me.